Breaking right now, Meghan Markle is entering a new war with the British royal family. Let me take you through this. Vanity Fair has reported information from sources close to senior members of the royal family that they have zero interest in her new Netflix series. However, Richard Eden in the Daily Mail has warned them that Meghan is actually threatening them secretly within the show. He reports, royal sources I have spoken to this week believe they know the answer. It's clearly a warning shot, one palace insider told me, confirming that Meghan seemed to be making a very public point of emphasizing how much the title meant to her and by implication to Harry, which is to say that the royal family should not so much as contemplate stripping them of their titles. This is a course of action that has been mooted many times since Harry and Meghan abandoned royal duties 5 years ago, eventually moving to California to seek their fortunes. So, Angela Levin, is With Love Meghan her latest attempt to go to war with the royals?
Absolutely, because why did she make a big thing about correcting her friend's use of her surname? You don't do that. I mean, if you invite someone to come round for a nice chat and something to eat, and they come in and they, hello, Meghan Markle, and she said, no, don't you know that's not my name now? And give her a telling off within a few minutes. Now, that's not a friend. That's not our best friend. Where's her manners? And I think that she feels if she's got the name of Sussex, then it will keep her safe. But actually, the people in Sussex are very fed up with her because they said she and Harry went once for about half an hour when just after they were married. Otherwise, she's never gone. Now, if she's so interested in Sussex, she should, and having the title, she should go and see Sussex and maybe offer to make some sandwiches for them. And she doesn't do anything like that. So the only reason she could want it and make a big fuss about it is that she wants to say, this is now my royal name and you can't do anything about it. So there.
All right, folks. Meghan Markle is at it again. According to reports, she is launching a new war on the British royal family, and this time, she's using her Netflix show as a weapon. But guess what? King Charles, Prince William and Princess Anne are completely ignoring her. Vanity Fair just revealed that senior royals have zero interest in With Love Meghan. But Meghan? She's allegedly using the show to send a threat to the monarchy, warning them not to strip her and Harry of their titles. This is beyond desperate. Let's break it all down. So, let's start with the latest bombshell. Vanity Fair is reporting that the royal family has no interest in Meghan's Netflix show. And honestly, can you blame them? Angela Levin says it best. Why would the monarchy care about a lifestyle show where Meghan throws flower petals on food and forces fake friends to compliment her? They have real duties to focus on.
And indeed, it is a very difficult thing to do because it involves the government and retaliation and all sorts of things that is very difficult. But she's determined now, and she's very determined for her children, which I think is very odd as well, because they haven't seen any side of their godparents and their grandparent, because they don't see them. So they don't know what their life is. And so why they need to have this title, Prince and Princess, is I think quite cruel, because children are not kind in class and they can sort of mock her. They might have read a lovely sort of fairy story and where the princess comes to save you. But, if there's a little girl who's a princess, they're not going to have it. And I think that that's as well, not thinking about them. But this is her having a cuddle with Harry. But he arrived and he was there for 3 minutes or so because he said it was her thing to do. And it's just to say that, here's the royal person, I'm still royal, but she doesn't want him to get involved with anything. It's very damaging for her as well as everything else.
Angela, let's have a look at the moment you referred to earlier. It was such an awful moment, actually, that did show the true Meghan Markle when she lashes out at Mindy Kaling for describing her as Meghan Markle. So your contention, Angela, is that that was a strategic warning shot.
Yes, because it was all sort of lined up to sort of attack her, wasn't it? And actually, if she says about, it's her children, it's with they're together, this is a bit of acting, wasn't it? It was just very much sort of, I'm so desperate to keep this wonderful title, and you ruined it for me, ruined the day. It's you can sort of add on a little bit because it seems very odd, and you can see that her friend is quite shocked, as anybody would be. You can't actually have a friend and say you can't use that name, and get into a bad temper and make it seem dramatic. She likes that. It's dramatic what this could happen if she didn't have this word, to keep them as a family. But she wants to go off and do her own thing without Harry, not seeing her children. They're going away soon for their holiday, and they're not taking the children. So this sort of, oh, I can't bear it, is really just drama.
Now, Angela, I'm just looking at this Vanity Fair article by Katie Nicholl, who is
All
the
right.
first person who's actually written about the royal family's reaction to With Love Meghan. It is relatively scathing. She reports its senior members, including Prince William and Kate Middleton. Vanity Fair, by the way, says Kate Middleton. That's not me. As you know, wherever possible, I try and say Catherine, the Princess of Wales.
Quite right.
But
yes.
they say, I guess it's the American style. But anyway, she says they have, quote, zero interest in watching the TV show, according to people with knowledge, with one source saying the king knows more than enough about beekeeping. Besides, he's far too busy to step down and watch it. Then a friend of the royals tells Katie Nicholl, there's very little to actually learn from Meghan's TV show. I suspect that the royal family will be quite dismissive of it. I can't imagine Kate and William will sit down to watch it. Why would they? So, relatively brutal response from the royal family. What do you make of it?
And here's where things get interesting. Meghan is apparently furious that no one in the royal family has acknowledged her show. She was hoping for some kind of reaction, but instead, silence. The royals aren't playing her game, and Meghan? She can't handle it. And let's be honest, Meghan desperately needs the royal connection. Without it, she's just another ex-actress trying to make it in Hollywood. And that's why she's using this show to remind the monarchy and the public that she still holds a royal title. But for how much longer? Now here's where things get really shady. Royal expert Richard Eden just revealed that Meghan's show contains a secret warning to the monarchy. And honestly, sounds like a threat. Eden's sources say Meghan is making a very public point about how much her title means to her and Harry. And by implication, she's daring the royal family to try and strip it away. In other words, Meghan is trying to scare them into silence. Think about it. There have been constant calls for King Charles to strip Meghan and Harry of their Sussex titles. Every time they trash the monarchy, people demand action. And Meghan? She's now sending a message. Don't even think about it.
Oh, I'm not surprised about that. I've heard that a lot now. That when it's gotten so bad for so long, they've just cut it off. Because when Harry went to see his father, he would start shouting about him that he was, he's not apologized to Meghan, and it's not what he wants. He wants this, he wants that. And actually, if you're unwell, he's still treated for cancer, then it can make you very upset and hot and bothered. So they cut it out. It's not interesting. That program is not interesting, and he doesn't want to know. And I think that all of the family feel like that. Princess Anne doesn't want to know anything about it, and she's very stable and honourable, and she can be very nice to people, or she doesn't want to know them, and this is a don't want to know you. And I think that Camilla just wants to look after the king and keep him happy, which she does. So you don't want the intrusion. It's now become an intrusion, hasn't it? That they demand that they see something they don't want to see, or we've got this now just like you have. And Catherine has bees, and other people want to look after bees, but actually the king does know how to do it. He's got lots of beehives and he loves it. It's his favorite thing. When I went to see him some years ago to give him a present, I took up very special honey. I can't tell you how pleased he was. Oh my goodness, wonderful. I mean, he loves honey. So to see what Meghan does and see all the mistakes, he doesn't want to know. But this is a very small thing that has been blown up, isn't it? If they wanted to bring the children and make it quiet and actually not start a big argument, there's a small chance. But she's just said she doesn't want anything to do with England. She said this in the papers today that she doesn't want anything
to do
with it.
And there was no reference. Did you notice, Angela? No reference in the show at all to her time in the United Kingdom. Nothing in terms of influence or, apart from the ladybird versus ladybug argument, which was just about how you pronounce or what you called something, sorry.
Potatoes and potatoes, isn't it?
Yeah, but there was nothing in terms of when I was in the royal family, I was inspired because I learned how they made beautiful scones or, nothing. It's like she could not even bring herself to give some credit to the royal family, who do this stuff better than anyone, Angela. I mean, come on. You're not getting a better cake or a better afternoon tea anywhere other than Buckingham or Kensington Palace. So, and by the way, the public can go and try it there, at the Kensington Palace Cafe.
Lots of very nice jam there, of course.
Yep, which is on sale.
Yep. But it's very interesting because she's not grateful. She doesn't feel that they've done anything for her. They've made it very difficult because of her TIG and taking that away.
Oh yeah, but even though that's just a lie, because they never took it away. That was her choice. It was her choice because she thought she wanted to be a princess until she realized actually modern day princesses in the UK, you actually do have to do a little bit of work and it's not as glamorous as maybe she thought it was in the fairy tale. Angela, I guess the thing that is very serious though when it comes to this show and the royal family is in regards to the children, Archie and Lilibet, who controversially remain in the line of succession. I know that both of us have some reservations about that and we've discussed that in previous episodes. But it's particularly shocking for King Charles to only get a glimpse of his grandchildren when Meghan decides to pimp them out on the Drew Barrymore show. And the name thing is serious as well, because what it does is suggest that Meghan isn't going quietly.
But here's the thing. If Meghan is so independent, why is she so desperate to hold on to this title? If she doesn't need the monarchy, why is she clinging to it for dear life? It's because she knows that without it, she loses all credibility. And honestly, this just proves how calculated she is. She doesn't want to be a working royal, she doesn't want to serve the monarchy, but she also doesn't want to lose the power that comes with the title. She wants all the perks with none of the responsibility. And speaking of titles, let's talk about Angela Levin absolutely destroying Meghan over her bizarre obsession with being called Duchess of Sussex. So get this, during her Netflix show, Meghan actually corrected one of her friends, who casually called her Meghan Markle. She literally stopped them and said, "That's not my name now." Excuse me. What? Angela Levin Rs Meghan for this, saying, if Meghan actually cared about Sussex, she'd visit the place once in a while. And honestly, he's right. Meghan and Harry have only visited Sussex once, for about 30 minutes. Yet Meghan acts like she's the queen of the region. And here's the truth. The only reason Meghan insists on using Duchess of Sussex is because it gives her status. Without it, she's just Meghan Markle. And that's why she's making a huge deal about keeping it, because she knows her entire brand would collapse without it. So now, the big question. Should King Charles finally take action and strip Meghan and Harry of their Sussex titles? Think about it. Meghan has spent the last 5 years trashing the monarchy. She accused them of racism, she called them toxic, And she even said she felt trapped in royal life. So why does she still want to be a duchess? Angela Levin and other royal experts have argued that King Charles needs to act soon, because if he doesn't, Meghan will keep using her title to attack the monarchy while profiting off of it. And honestly, that's unacceptable. At this point, Meghan and Harry have made it clear they want nothing to do with the monarchy. So why should they be allowed to hold royal titles? You can't have it both ways. Either you're in or you're out. And Meghan made her choice a long time ago.
Yeah, that's right. This is absolutely right. And I think, though, that you have to adapt yourself to that as well. I mean, in lots of families, there's a black sheep, and, they won't let you see anything or do anything because that's their only way of winning something. And I think it's very upsetting for King Charles. He's got lovely things in his gardens for children, houses up in trees and all that sort of thing. But, you've got to come to terms with it, haven't you? You can't make yourself ill because of that. If that's what anybody wants, you have to turn your back on that. And he's lucky because he's got Catherine and William's children, and little Louis.
Yeah, he is, but it still must be painful. And obviously it's also painful for Thomas Markle.
I think you can. I think you just have to say, maybe one day, but I can't upset myself because I can't deal with this person.
Which I guess is what Thomas Markle has had to do as well. But I just thought it was particularly telling that, so when it came to her dad, Angela, she wanted the whole narrative to be, he's a terrible father, he just fed me TV meals and, made me go to cheap restaurants, even though that actually wasn't true. We know that Samantha Markle was here with us, wasn't she, on Wednesday telling us that?
Yes.
So that wasn't true.
But she didn't do that. Yeah.
No, yeah. But when it comes to the royal family, it is just impossible to think that this whole lifestyle thing, this whole afternoon tea thing was not in some way inspired by what she saw within the royal family. But she can't bring herself to say anything positive about the royal family. It's weird, it's gross, it's disgusting, but it's what we've come to expect. Final word to you, Angela.
Yes, well, I think that's absolutely right. I really agree with you. And that you learn manners, you learn how to speak to people who you don't know or speak in a different language. You understand how to be nice to the people who are your aides and will help you, and to, be kind to children and understand when you go out that you look your best and you behave yourself as well as possible. And even if you don't like where you're going and you're not really very interesting, you have to pretend that it is, because that's what is expected of you, and that's your job. But I think she's changed a bit to know that, because of her handbags and her gloves and all those sort of little things. But they all make a woman grand if she wants that. But she hates it and she wants to punish them. And it's a very, very extraordinary thing that she's going to go on and on and on and on until she can do something that really hurts them.
So let's break it all down. Meghan Markle is furious that the royal family is ignoring her Netflix show. She's allegedly using it to send a threat to the monarchy, warning them not to strip her of her title. But guess what? The royal family is done playing her games. King Charles and Prince William have completely ignored her Netflix show. Meghan is clinging to her Duchess title like her life depends on it. Angela Levin exposes her as a fraud. She doesn't even care about Sussex. And now the pressure is on. Will King Charles finally strip her title? At this point, the writing is on the wall. Meghan needs the royal family way more than they need her. Without them, she has no influence, no credibility, and no career. And she knows it. So now the big question: should King Charles strip Meghan and Harry of their royal titles? Is Meghan trying to blackmail the monarchy into keeping her status? And is the royal family finally done with her drama? Let me know in the comments.